Good evening, humans. Tyrannosaurusmoth here, and tonight we're taking a look at the Marvel Legends retro-carded Apocalypse figure from Hasbro. There's been a lot of hype around this figure, and the question is it earned? Let's talk about that. Let's do this. Aesthetically speaking, Apocalypse here looks positively fantastic. This is very much based off the X-Men animated series version of Apocalypse, and that makes me extremely happy and made this an instant buy for me because that version of Apocalypse is totally what made me a fan of the character. And yeah, I've just always loved this color scheme. I mean, it's pretty basic, and you know, some might argue flat. I don't think so, especially given the context. And yeah, basically just blues and purples. And really like this nice shade of purple. It's a little muted, but still looks really good. As you can see, it's kind of blending into my background. So, you know, obviously a shade I like. And then the blues, especially the like kind of matte here on the chest armor, just looks really, really nice. It looks kind of classy. And yeah, beyond that, it's mostly colored plastic. So, you know, blues, your purples, and that's about it. Until we get to the head, and the head is almost over detailed. You know, I still dig it, but it definitely stands out. Like, that looks way more realistic than the rest of the figure does. But it's got such great attitude. And I mean, I think these were the heads from the Build-A-Figure. I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, because I don't have that version. But yeah, just still looks just really, really good. Love the, like, almost the red and yellow in the eyes. Almost looks gold from a certain distance. And you know, shading, beautiful, brings out a lot of the wrinkles in there. And again, that shade of blue is just really, really nice. Definitely pops out. So yeah, that's aesthetics. We get a real nice loadout of accessories here, and they definitely help add to the kind of deluxe feel of this figure. So let's start right off with hands. And right out of the box, we get these kind of grasping power hands. And we've seen these before. We've seen these on the Build-A-Figure Apocalypse, the Age of Apocalypse, and the Colossus Build-A-Figure Age of Apocalypse version of Colossus. So we've seen these before. Going back to aesthetics, actually, there's one thing I'm sad about that they didn't add in from the animated look, and that is the kind of knuckle plate in his hands from that look, which might actually be able to be sculpted in. That might be something I try, especially if I can match that blue with paint. So that brings us to the other pair of hands. So we get a pair of fists. Once again, we saw it with those three figures. So these are not new, but they look great. And then we get two different head portraits. So we looked at the first one, the kind of gritting teeth, and then we get the more stoic, just kind of sitting there, kind of calm-ish face. And love this one as well. I cannot pick a favorite between the two. And same thing with that kind of realism brought from the shading and stuff like that. Beautiful eyes, all the paint nice and crisp. So there's that. Then we get two of his arm tubes, and those just plug in to his gauntlets and some ports in his back. And then finally, we get an arm cannon. This looks really nice. Actually, I love the addition of the orange here. That really pops. Kind of gives it an early 90s feel, like early 90s toy feel. And as you can see, there's a port there for his little arm thing, like little arm tube. So there's that. And you can see there's little openings there, which are for the blast effects we get. So we get a large blast effect. And then we get, and that just ports in, I believe. It's not going to work on camera, of course. There we go. So you can do that. And then we get two smaller ones, which I'm not even going to attempt to put in from here, which obviously go into the smaller ports here on the bottom. So that's accessories. Articulation here is positively wonderful, and unfortunately I could not get this in a freestanding kick, only because the ankles on mine are slightly loose. That's something that can be fixed with a little bit of you know, Kiki's joint fix or something like that. But yeah, not only that, but just the sheer weight of the figure. I mean, this is solid plastic, so so there's that. But breaking it down top to bottom as we do, our head is on a ball hinge, and we are getting a lot of up. We can absolutely bury the chin, which is great. And we even get some nice amount of tilt because of the room under that head sculpt. We are hinge and swivel at the arms, bringing us into our T. These are actually on, kind of attached right under the arm, it looks like. So you can actually get all the way around if you want to. From there, we have bicep swivel. We have single jointed elbows, which aren't quite getting us to 90, but that's okay. He is quite swole. And then we have hinge and swivel at the wrists, all horizontal. We have our standard ab crunch. So we can actually bend down really, really nicely. And Back arch is not quite as good, but still definitely nice. We do get some swivel at the waist, which is hidden by this belt. Absolutely beautiful splits, as you saw at the beginning. Our front kick is excellent as well. We have thigh swivel. We have double jointed knees, bringing us to about there. And then instead of a boot cut, we do have the ankle cut, which kind of added that looseness a little bit, but still, I love that they do that for these bigger figures. Then we get, I mean, this is a little stiff here. I gotta warm these up a little bit, but we get some nice point. We get a little bit of decent forward and some fantastic rocker. So that's articulation. Getting into size comparisons, here he is with some other Marvel Legends, with some other Hasbro and some Mattel, with some imports, with some monsters. Finally, with our articulated icons Oni and yours truly in human form as a Valorverse Action Force figure. So my final thoughts on the Marvel Legends retro carded Apocalypse figure is that this is an absolute thing of beauty. Honestly, I did not know how much I needed this. Well, until I saw the solicitations, I was like, okay, absolutely need it. Then when I got it like in hand, just totally put it over the top. I'm kind of sad I had the pile of loot sent a little bit later, because this totally would have made my top 13 for 2022. It just, you know, I got it too late. And yeah, again, this version of Apocalypse is what made me fall in love with Apocalypse as a character. It's absolutely my favorite Marvel villain, and this just captures it all just really, really well. Again, my only, not even gripe, but just something I wish that was included was, again, on the hands, that they had redone the sculpt to have those bands on the hands. There's, like, again, I'm obviously hand things are a thing for me, so just an aesthetic I like. But in any event, like, absolutely, if you are a fan of the Apocalypse character of the X-Men animated series, any of that, absolutely pick this up. Like, this is great. And it is largely a repaint of the Build-A-Figure, but a lot of us didn't get that. And, you know, this, I think, is just close to that experience, certainly if you enjoy this color scheme and this version of the character. So, yeah, this is pretty much everywhere. You know, I think this will show up on pegs at some point, maybe? I don't know, but it's huge. But it's definitely on various online shops, not limited to, but including Entertainment Earth, of whom I happen to be an affiliate. So I will have a link in the description below to go there. And if you use code TSMoth at checkout, as of right now, you can get 10% off and free shipping if your order is over $39. So absolutely extra worth it, that, especially if you have anything else you're looking for. So please check that out. And yeah, all that being said, I just want to say I hope you found this review informative and somewhat entertaining. If you did, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, all that other fun stuff. And yeah, I just want to say ultra thanks to you for spending this time with me. I hope to see you in the future and join me for other reviews of Toku, dinosaurs, monsters, and pro wrestling figures. So take care of yourself, take care of those around you, and most importantly, stay weird, simians.